Yo, I'm about to crash out. I'm about to fucking crash out. I realize this is becoming my new intro here. I don't mean that to be my new intro. It's just so many things these days are annoying the hell out of me, I guess. Like look at this. It is so dark and cold out right now. Would you believe it's like 4:30 p.m.? It's still the afternoon in my mind, and it's fucking dark and cold and dreary, and I'm so pissed off. Everything's like pissing me off right now. Like I hate how early the day ends now. I hate how early it gets dark now. Like it's only 4:30 and it's like fucking dark out. I hate it. I hate it. Anyway, what's got me in a bad mood? I don't even want to review this because I'm in such a bad mood right now. But we gotta talk about. Let me show you my vision board here. And of course it's windy. It's like so windy. It's like all of the worst combination of elements. Christy, Sydney Sweeney's new movie Christy. It came out last weekend. It came out November 7th. I was really looking forward to this movie for a very long time, in fact, and it was much talked about for a while, and so it's weird. It's like I hear all these different narratives. I hear all these different stories about this movie and like why it bombed. That's mainly I'm gonna review the movie, but I'm more talking about like what happened, like the reaction to this movie, why this movie is bombing so bad. I saw this movie opening weekend because I wanted to support it. I spoilers. I love this movie. I love this movie. I recommend you go see this movie if you even can. This is the second weekend that it's out, and it's been difficult for me to find a screening. So the first weekend, I saw it opening night. I saw it on a Friday night. Like the movie had literally just come out. I go to see it after work, and literally my theater's empty. It's just me and one old geezer in the front row, who, by the way, he had he had headphones on, so I don't know how he was going to hear the movie anyway. He had headphones on and a blanket. Like he was just kind of vibing. He was just like doing his own thing, and he fell asleep. He fell asleep like halfway through the movie. I'm like, all right, well, at least that's like one more ticket sale for Sydney. So like opening weekend, this movie bombed, and then of course that's usually when movies make most of their money, is the opening weekend. But imagine my surprise. I saw it again because I mean, I really did like the movie. I did, in fact, want to see it again. But as soon as I heard that the movie was bombing, I was like, okay, all guns blazing. Like, I need to come to this movie's defense. I need to support Sydney Sweeney and all of the great work that she's done. So I showed up again this weekend, second weekend, and it's already so hard to find a fucking screening for this movie. The only screening time, I saw this on, this would be Saturday. I saw this at AMC again, and this time, second weekend, there was only like a 12:45 in the afternoon screening, and that was it. There was just the one screening for the day, and I was like, oh my god! So it's already so hard to see the movie. If you get up late, or if you don't leave your house till like 1 or 2 or something, like you already can't see the movie now. So that sucks. That sucks. But imagine my surprise. The second screening I went to, there were actually far more people. It was besides myself, I think there were like 7 other people in the theater. I was happy. I was happy to see that that there were more people in the second weekend. Which is weird. I hope this movie kind of comes back, and like by good word of mouth, it can make some of its money back. But again, the opening weekend is like the real deciding factor, and it already kind of bombed. So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about with this movie. I'm already losing light. I might have to go under a street light soon to show you this. But so, what is this movie? This movie is a biopic. This is a movie based on the life of Christy Martin, the female boxer, a prolific female boxer in the 90s. I don't really follow sports at all, so to be fair, I hadn't really heard of Christy Martin. But to be fair, if you were to ask me anything, I barely know any sports person at all. So you know. That's not a knock against Martin or this movie, and I'm always eager to learn. That's the funny thing about me, I guess, is like I'm so like anti-sports. Like you gotta like pay me to watch a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game, but I'll watch a movie. Like I'll watch a fucking movie. I'll watch Rocky, especially boxing movies. Like I'll watch any boxing movie, bro. I'll watch Christy. I'll watch Million Dollar Baby. I love that movie. There was a movie that came out at the end of last year called The Fire Inside. That was really fucking good. I love that movie as well, based on the life of Claressa Shields, another boxer I did not know. But yeah, like there's a great mind here of there's a great opportunity here to tell these like engaging stories about these like underdog characters in the sports world, especially in the female sports world, because they're going up against so much adversity. You know what I mean? There's like they have to work twice as hard to kind of prove themselves, because there's still like that stigma. Again, like I don't follow sports at all, but this is just my understanding, is like even people who follow sports, there is that stigma of like, oh, you're gonna watch basketball? Are you gonna watch women's basketball? Like there's like kind of that undertone, like the male sports always have much more of an audience. More people are watching baseball than say women's softball. More people are watching men's UFC than women's UFC. More people are watching male boxers than female boxers. Like I would guarantee that even a lot of boxing fans, you could ask them like, oh, do you know Clarissa Shields? Do you know Christy Martin? And like, oh, I don't really follow women's boxing. That's just how it is. I'm not really making a judgment one way or the other. That's just kind of how it is. So this is kind of theory crafting, or a dissection, a theory video of like I'm trying to solve a mystery. We need to get the Scooby Gang here. I'm trying to solve a mystery. I'm trying to figure out how this movie fucking bombed. I really am. I'm really racking my brains, because I mean I didn't expect this movie to like do Marvel movie numbers or anything, but like I was surprised that it bombed as badly as it did. Like it's I saw one headline where it's saying like I forget what the website was, like maybe Box Office Mojo or something, but they were saying that this movie like really bombed. Like it had like the 9th worst opening of a movie of all time or something. Like it barely made any money at all. I mean, you can tell the second weekend there's like one screening per day. So how much more money is it going to possibly make, even if people do find out about it too late, and jump on? So there's, like I said, there's a lot here. There's a lot to say here. I can say that the advertising for this movie was very bad, or non-existent. The advertising was mostly your boy. It was mostly me. Like I was so gung-ho about this movie. I'd known about it for a while, and I was running around telling people like, oh, do you like Sydney Sweeney? Like she has this new boxing movie coming out. Do you like women's boxing? Like here's a great underdog story. Oh, do you like queer sports stories? This is Christy Martin was a closeted lesbian. That this is about her story, and the movie goes into that side of her story as well. What it's like to be a closeted lesbian in the 90s, all of the different factors in being like a queer woman in a woman's sport, and perceptions of you, expectations of you, all this stuff. I think this movie had a lot going for it, and it did not deserve to bomb the way that it did. I don't think it's the greatest movie of all time or anything like that. I wouldn't even say it's the greatest boxing movie of all time, but I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I really love the movie a lot. And I think Sydney Sweeney deserves praise for her performance in the movie. I mean, her performance alone is worth seeing the movie for. She does such a great job. I always thought she was a good actress, but like recently, I think she's kind of been on this like kind of maybe not crusade isn't the right word, but this like campaign to kind of prove herself as like because she's afraid of being typecast. She had that romance movie with Glenn Powell, Anyone But You, which I really like. That's one of my favorite romance movies actually. But she's kind of like, she's in the bikini. She's like kind of eye candy in that movie. She's wearing like the low cut dress and everything. And I think she's like afraid. She got a name for herself on that show Euphoria because she like popped her top and everything. And she's, very, very attractive. She's very voluptuous and everything. So I think she's afraid of being typecast as like, oh, I'm just in this movie to be eye candy. It's kind of like what happened to Kaley Cuoco, so many years back, right? We need a hot girl in this show or this movie. Get Kaley Cuoco, and I guess that's kind of what Sydney Sweeney is these days. But no, she's really made a name for herself recently. I still have to watch it because I don't have HBO, but she has a movie called Reality Winner or Reality or something like that. But it's a serious drama. She's not like wearing any revealing clothing or anything, and she did a really great job. And then there's this movie, which is this is like definitely her most challenging, most demanding role yet. And she pulled it off. Like she didn't have to take on this challenge, but not only is she like embodying this real life figure, which comes with all this pressure, but Sydney Sweeney is not not normally an athlete. Like she's I think she was like decently in shape. She wasn't like overweight or anything, but she had to get in shape. She had to like train. She had to like train as a boxer. She basically went through Christy Martin's real life training routine to get ready for this movie. And she did it. She had to diet. She had to like drink all these protein shakes and all this shit. Like I read about this. She gained 35 pounds of muscle for the role. She transformed. She really transformed. You won't even really recognize her when you're watching this movie. I mean that in a good way. And she still looks great. For me, I mean, your mileage may vary. Like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Let me actually get under. Let me get. You can't see shit. I can't see shit either, because it's now 4:45 p.m. and which means it's pitch blackout now, because that's how things are these days. Let me get under a street light so you can actually see my visual aids that can actually be useful to me here. And of course, the wind's working against me too. Everything's just working against. It's like you don't want me to review this movie. What's going on here? Here we go. So this is what Sydney Sweeney normally looks like. She's all, very attractive, obviously. But this is her, going through training. I mean, you can see the muscle tone on her arms. She's got the biceps now. She's been working out, and I think she's still like really beautiful. Again, your mileage may vary. People have different standards of beauty, yada yada. But like honestly, I prefer. I mean, I always thought she was good looking, but I prefer. Man, she's physically fit too. She's already beautiful, and she's physically fit. Like, she can kick some ass. Like now she's even more. Like that's like whipped cream and cherry on top of the sundae. You know what I mean? The Sydney Sweeney sundae. I think she's even more beautiful now. But again, that's not even like that's not what determines whether this is a good movie or not. I'm just making a little footnote there where I think she's even, her transformation has been for the better. Like I think she's even more attractive. I hope she keeps it up, and she's even talked about how she said in an interview, she's like, oh, I want to like box for real now, because I mean I'm like, yeah, get it, girl. Like seriously, watch the movie. You totally believe her as a boxer, and she basically went through the training that you need to go through to become a real boxer. I mean, what's really going to happen? I'm sure her agent is like freaking out because the agent's thinking about how her face is going to get messed up, or her ear is going to get messed up. But like, what's really going to happen realistically? She's going to do one charity match, and like the other guy will like throw the fight or whatever, and that'll be that. And we let her have her fun, but she wants to still act, obviously, so she's going to focus on her acting. She just wants to try the boxing thing, which go for it. I'll be there. I'll be there front row. But yeah, so the movie. I don't know. People were saying that nobody knew about the movie. It wasn't advertised well. I do agree with that, but I also don't agree with that, because I remember because again, everyone that's past tense. Everyone is still obsessed with Sydney Sweeney. Everyone's talking about her. I feel like for the past 3 or 4 years, ever since she made her debut on Euphoria. But people were so obsessed with her. I was seeing articles about like these 2 images that were leaked, where like somebody. These aren't even like official images from the movie. Like they were filming Christy kind of in secret, and it was like, I guess the press got these images or something somehow, and it was leaked onto the internet. And so Sydney had to kind of announce it on Instagram. She was like, well, like the movie wasn't even official yet, but I guess the cat's out of the bag. Like there's already pictures of me looking swole and like boxing. So yeah, I am in a boxing movie about Christy Martin. And by the way, like there wasn't even they obviously settled on the title of Christy, but at the time she's like, yeah, like we haven't even settled on the title of the movie yet. And like if you used to go on like the Wikipedia entry, and it would just say untitled Christy Martin movie starring Sydney Sweeney, like there was no title yet. So like people were talking about this shit, people were sharing these 2 pictures before the movie was even officially announced or had a title. So that's where I have to disagree and say, oh, nobody knew about the movie. I knew about the movie. I think a lot of people knew about the movie way ahead of time. Maybe it was like too much time had passed and people forgot, or people didn't realize when it came out. I don't know. I don't know why people didn't show up, but people definitely knew about this movie, and people were like, again, writing articles talking about how like, yeah, Sydney Sweeney's like really putting herself through the paces. She's gained 35 pounds of muscle. Like I knew that statistic like several weeks ago. So like, this movie wasn't unknown or anything. I don't know. Another thing I'll say, I've been reading a little bit about this. So I think it's also a case of like a lot of these like sports biopics have not done super well recently. People just aren't feeling it for whatever reason. Another great example is like just earlier this year, The Smashing Machine, the A24 movie starring Dwayne Johnson. That was really fucking good. I saw that as well. and that underperformed as well. It was an A24 movie, had a limited release, not the greatest advertising, and like even The Rock, his charisma and fan base, they couldn't save it. Like it like I think it just broke even or barely broke even. And then once again, box office doesn't necessarily reflect the quality of a movie. This is a great movie as well. I would put this on par with Christy. I think both are great movies. So that's another, and that's similarly to Christy. This is another case where like The Rock was like, I don't want to be typecast. I want to be taken seriously. I want to kind of transform for this role. I don't want you to recognize me. And he pulled it off in my opinion. He did a great job. Same thing with Christy. And then like I said, just last December we had The Fire Inside. I don't know this actress at all, but she was playing the real-life boxer Clarissa Shields, a girl who came from, kind of an impoverished community, kind of was making a name for herself and for, like, black women in sports, in boxing specifically. Great, great movie. In fact, so I would actually rate this even. Christy and Smashing Machine, I'd give an 8 out of 10. The Fire Inside was fire. I mean, it's right in the title. Fire Inside was 9 out of 10. It was a very, very good movie that nobody saw. Unfortunately, this movie bombed as well. And I think, yeah, part of it is people don't know who these sports people are. Like nobody knew who Clarissa Shields was, so nobody saw this. Nobody knew who Christy Martin was, so nobody saw this. But the difference being, like again, this actress was kind of a no-name. She did a great job, don't get me wrong. She was obviously, she's got the muscle tone and everything, but nobody knew her, so that's why they didn't show up. Sydney Sweeney has like a huge fan base. Again, people are obsessed with her. People knew about this movie months and months before, so I don't know why people didn't show up to this. I really don't. What I will get into now, this is so fucking stupid, but I have to get into. So there's the American Eagle jeans ad that generated one of the dumbest controversies I've ever heard about. I couldn't believe it was real. Like I didn't think it was a real controversy. Like I heard about it and I'm like, okay, but like that's not like real. Like people aren't actually mad about this ad. And I watched the ad. I mean, it's. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And I think that's where Sydney's at, because she hasn't really, like, responded either. People are mad at it. She hasn't given, like, I don't know, like a big statement about it. It's like, what's she supposed to fucking say? Like, she made a jeans commercial, you know? But, like, I watched the commercial. She's, like, looking, she is definitely, showing some skin. She's scantily clad. And she's, showing off some cleavage. And she's, like, talking about how, like, genes are passed down from parents to offspring, and like that's why I have my beautiful blonde hair and my beautiful blue eyes and other assets that were handed down that make me physically attractive and blah blah blah. And so some would say I have great genes, and the joke is that jeans versus denim jeans. She's wearing jeans. She's talking about her genetics, her genes. It's just a stupid joke, man. And then people kind of took that and like said all this stuff, and like it's out of control, man. Like is this what we're arguing about? We're arguing about a fucking jeans ad, and like some people have been like, oh, the ad's too sexual or whatever. I mean, listen, man. Listen, I watched the ad. I watched it multiple times. No, don't tell Lizzie. Don't tell Lizzie I've watched this ad like 500 times. Yeah, I mean, it's sexual. So are many advertisements. Have you ever lived in this country? Have you ever seen an ad before? Have you ever heard the old adage that sex sells? Like, it's true. I mean, I hate to break it to you, but Sydney Sweeney, I would say that she does have good genes. I would say that. That is a true statement. She is very physically attractive. She's very voluptuous. She's very beautiful. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's like controversial to say, And like, you can have like the angry feminists or whatever saying like this and that, or like, well, why'd they have to pick her to sell the jeans? And I don't know who they would have been happy about. Would they have been happy if it was like Melissa McCarthy or Amy Schumer doing the ad? Well, then I guarantee less people would have watched it or bought the jeans. Like, I'm sorry, it's a really basic marketing strategy, but it's an effective one. You put an attractive person in your ad to sell your product, and people will listen. That's just them's the breaks. Them's the breaks, my friend. I am being hypnotized. I don't know what I was talking about. I do know that I need to go buy some American Eagle jeans. But yeah, no, people took it a certain way. Some people on the internet, they said that like, oh, it has like, Nazi undertones. She's talking about jeans. She's a blonde, blue-eyed woman talking about jeans. Is she secretly into eugenics? Is she a Nazi? And I'm like, wow, that's a mighty big leap you just took. Like, I hope you can handle the fall. You took a huge leap. Did you have a mat underneath you when you? But yeah, that's what I've heard from some people is that the American Eagle jeans ad controversy actually kind of soured some people to Sydney, and that it led to her box office flop, possibly. I mean, I'm sure this was like a combination of factors. I'm sure that like the Eagle ad was a factor, but that would be so fucking depressing and stupid if this ad like sabotaged her movie, because all of her other movies have done well. Well, not Madam Web, but that's a whole other. That's my new theory. That's my new theory. Is this the curse of Madam Web? Is this the curse of Madam Web? Everyone else, that Madam Web was such a horrible movie. Everyone else's career was ruined by that movie. Sydney Sweeney, I always used to joke that she like dodged that bullet because she was a minor character in that movie. But maybe she didn't. Maybe the curse of Madam Web caught up with her, and like everyone just suddenly remembered. Oh, you were that chick in Madam Web. Oh, fuck you. We're not seeing your movie. I don't know. Maybe that played a tiny part. I don't know. I do know that it's tragic and sad that this movie is so fucking good. Sydney did so much work for the movie, far more work, much like Christy herself, where you see in the movie how Christy trains twice as hard as any man that her coaches, because she needs to like constantly prove herself, prove to the world that women's boxing is a real thing that should be taken seriously. And similarly, Sydney Sweeney herself is on a similar journey. I can see why she vibed so much. She related so much to the character because she herself was on a similar journey as far as like, I'm not just a pretty face, like I'm not just eye candy, I'm not just a nice girl with big boobies, like I'm gonna really work my ass off and get big muscles and convey that can be a strong female boxer and play this strong female boxer. And she did it. She did the work, and nobody saw the movie. And I think that's really sad. I really do. Like, that actually really kind of hurts my soul when I think about how much work she'd put into this movie and nobody fucking saw it. Another thing that I mean, it's also possible that no, not even just, it is possible. It's very likely that another big factor is what's the term? Like oversaturation. Oversaturation. I always talk about this with the Batman comics, where like fucking there's like 10 Batman comics that come out each month, and you just get kind of tired of it, or at least I do. And I'm like, no, I don't follow this Batman comic. Like, there's so much. How does anyone follow all of this? Like, I just get tired of it and I read something else. So I feel like maybe people are at that point with Sydney where her popularity is actually starting to work against her, because I mean, she's always been in a lot of stuff, but like I feel like this year especially, she's just been in fucking project after project. Like because I remember when I saw her movie Eden. Okay, that was crazy because I was talking to my friend about it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to see the new Sydney Sweeney movie that came out, and I was talking about Eden, and my friend, she was like, oh, are you seeing Americana? I'm like, oh, no, that was last week. Like, Sydney already has a new, and my friend was like, oh, another one? She's already, and I'm like, yeah, like Sydney had like two new movies out in theaters at the same fucking time. Talk about like splitting your fan base, right? Like, it's like, obviously people don't have enough money to see every Sydney Sweeney movie anymore. Not when a new one comes out every week. And like, I think, wasn't Madam Web earlier this year? Like, Jesus, it's been such a long year. And then this movie comes out, so that's what, 4 movies. And then in December, she has a movie with Amanda Seyfried, The Housemaid. So that's 5. That's 5 movies in 1 year. Jesus, Sydney, you're everywhere, girl. And you deserve it. And I'm sure she's been on like a couple streaming things as well recently. So like she's blowing up. She's everywhere. But perhaps this is we're seeing Sydney Sweeney saturation. Say that 5 times fast. Sydney Sweeney saturation. Like, she's everywhere. And so people are kind of getting tired. They're tuning out. I mean, that's what happened with The Rock, isn't it? Like, I love The Rock, but like I started to get to a point where he's in every movie and I kind of tune it out. I'm like, oh, there's a new Rock movie, And I'm sure that kind of worked against him with The Smashing Machine. Again, even though he put so much work into this performance and like kind of transformed himself for the movie, I think a lot of people saw, oh, it's another Rock movie. Like, not interested. Like, I'm over it. And I think that's where people are at with Sydney. I mean, you should have seen just from the screenshot like how different she is in this movie. But like, maybe people are still like at that point. Like, I've seen her everywhere. I even see her in fucking ads now. Like, I'm just over her. She's everywhere. I'm tired of her. Give me something else. Give me something different. Perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps. Yeah, and I have to mention, frickin', it's been a while since we talked about Ruby Rose. This is where it gets crazy. So I read it. This is like very recent. I read an article where people again were talking about the flop, like reasons for the flop, and Ruby Rose went after Sydney Sweeney. Like, she said some pretty mean things. Like, she was just kind of like, she called her like a cretin, and she was like, this movie bombed because it wasn't your story to tell, and like Sydney Sweeney's the reason this movie bombed, and like blah blah blah. I'm like, bitch, sit your ass, take a take a seat. Hold on, pump the brakes, lady. Ruby, like, I haven't even heard from you in a while, and you pop up just to attack my favorite actress. Like, how dare you? How dare you say that? Sydney Sweeney is the reason this movie got made. She produced the movie. Her performance alone carried this. Her transformative performance carried this movie. You're gonna say that it's her fault that the movie bombed? Really? Are you talking about the fucking jeans ad? Stop talking about the fucking jeans ad. I'm so over this. It's just a fucking jeans ad. I'm so over this. I never want to hear about this stupid ad ever again. My God. It was just a sexy woman selling you jeans, and she made a dumb joke about genetics. Like, get over it. You know what this is? And like chat's going in. Chat's saying like, oh, your boy's attacking Ruby now. Yeah, I am, because, you know, Ruby attacked my favorite actress. Said some pretty mean and unfair things, in my opinion, so I'm going to fire back. The fans are going to fire back, Ruby. You're going to attack a popular actress like Sydney Sweeney. Fans are going to fire back. Who are you? Fucking Ruby Rose. Like, what was the last thing I knew? Like, you were in Batwoman. You have no right to criticize anyone ever again. Like, again, like, we liked you in Orange is the New Black. We did. You were a character in one of the later seasons, I believe, and people really liked you. So that's fine. But what did you do after that? Well, we gave you a shot. We gave you a TV show, a starring role in a TV show. It was called Batwoman. It was a disastrous flop. It was a bigger. You have no right. You have no right to talk to anyone about flops, Ruby. Your show is the worst fucking piece of shit. Like, I'm the guy who watches Supergirl. I've seen several seasons of Supergirl. Your show made me want to go back to Supergirl. It was so bad. You left. You gave up. You know how Batman says he never quits? Batman's gonna be Batman until he's 75. Ruby, that sure isn't true of Batwoman. Ruby fucking quit the show. She left the show after season 1 because it was so bad. She was like, oh, get me out of here. And they were like, you can't leave. You're Batwoman. It's the show's about you. And then she left anyway. And they had to recast. Oh my lord. Yeah. I mean, I know what this is. Ruby has become horribly irrelevant again. Like, this is the first time she's been in the headlines in so long. It's the same shit with, do you remember when Kirsten Dunst started, like, talking trash about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies? And it's like, Kirsten, you were, like, the worst part of your Spider-Man, but she was, like, talking about, like, oh, our Spider-Man movies were so much better. And it's like, Kirsten, like, you've been irrelevant for a very long time. This is obviously just you trying to, like, get back in the headlines for a quick second. And it worked. People were talking about Kirsten Dunst for, like, a second. And this is the same thing. Like, Ruby Rose is jealous. She's I'm calling a spade. I'm sorry, Ruby, I'm going to insult you now, but you're jealous. You're completely washed up. Like, your TV show was a flop, and I haven't heard from you since. I don't know what else she's doing right now. Like, you haven't been in the public eye for a long time, and this got you some quick headlines. You saw the flop with the Christy movie, and you jumped in. You had to have your say because you were saying, like, oh, well, and it's obvious. Like, you're jealous. You're jealous of Sydney Sweeney's beauty. You're jealous of her big boobies. You're jealous that she got this role in this movie. Because she specifically said, like, oh, like, Sydney's a straight woman, like, Christy should have been played by a queer woman, cough, cough, me. like, she pretty much said that. And it's like, Ruby, we tried that. We tried you playing a gay superhero named Batwoman, and look how that turned out. That didn't go so well, you know. Like, you know, fine, you know, Christy Martin was a closeted lesbian. You're clearly a closeted Justin Bieber cosplayer. I know what you do on the weekends, Ruby. I know what you do for spare cash because you can't get acting jobs anymore. No, I'm just being mean. But you know, you insulted my favorite actress, so you're gonna get a little bit of heat. You're gonna get a little bit of heat, Batwoman. You definitely rock the Justin Bieber. I believe that's what you're going for. So I don't even know if that's an insult anymore. That's just the truth. Anyway, where was I going with this? But yeah, I mean, you know, it's. Look, and maybe some people had an issue with that Christy is in fact a lesbian and she was played by a straight woman, Sydney Sweeney. Oh, we get to see that, by the way. just gonna real quick mention that. Yeah, no, like we go into that like one of the first scenes is Sydney with her girlfriend, and she's motorboating this girl, and it's like, oh, this is nice. But anyway, getting distracted. Yeah, no, I mean, Sydney is straight in real life, and she plays a queer woman in the movie. It's called acting. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris is gay, and he plays a womanizer named Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, and he's everyone's favorite character in that show. It's called acting. You don't have to be the exact thing that you are portraying in a movie or a TV show. It's called acting. You should try it sometime. I'm sorry, Ruby. I liked you in Orange. Batwoman wasn't entirely your fault. That was a fucking sinking ship, and you got off when you had the chance. I don't entirely blame you for that either. But you should really hold back on the mean things you're saying about Sydney. Like, I don't know why you felt the need to kind of chime in again aside from just wanting to be in the headlines for a second. What else? What else? Can I just say, like, people are so weird. Again, I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And like maybe I'm like odd, where I'm like I mean, again, some people are turned off by like, oh, boxing's a man's sport, why is she looking all muscular and butcher or whatever? And I'm like, well, first of all, she's playing a closet lesbian, but second of all, yeah, I mean, I don't find muscle tone unattractive. Like, again, I guess to each their own. And then people have also said like, oh, Sydney Sweeney's a butterface. Like, everything's great about her but her face. Like, no one likes her face. I'm serious when I say, like, I think her face is one of the most attractive qualities of her. Like, anytime she's like smiling, or even there, she looks really cute. She has a really great smile. I love her smile. I don't have a great picture of that. Like, there, right here, she kind of has RBF a little bit. But like, if you can find a picture of her smiling, like, that's, I think, one of her best features. So I have no idea why people say that about her, that she's a butterface. I disagree with that entirely. Yeah. Where was I going? What was I saying? Where was I going with this? I'm getting hypnotized again. Stop. No more jeans ads, Sydney. Let's learn from this. Don't do any more sexy commercials. It'll ruin your career, apparently. Let me just mention, like, I mean, the whole cast is absolutely fantastic. Oh, god damn, I forgot to put a picture of her. Like, speaking of queer actors, Ruby, you should have done your homework, and I use up the real estate on my vision board for Ruby. Katie O'Brien, speaking of A24 movies, quick shout out. Katie O'Brien played a lesbian bodybuilder in the movie Love Lies Bleeding with Kristen Stewart. Another one of my favorite movies. Check that movie out. That's a 9 out of 10. That movie's fantastic. Katie O'Brien is quickly becoming one of my favorite actresses, by the way. But yeah, she is a lesbian bodybuilder in real life as well. So if Ruby is bitching about, like, oh, there weren't any lesbians in this movie, that is not true. Lisa Holloway, a major character in the film, a character that trains with Sydney, she is portrayed by Katie O'Brien, and I love her in that movie. Honestly, like, I mean, Katie O'Brien, she was already there as far as physique. Like, she was already jacked. Like, Katie O'Brien probably could have played Christy Martin, but it's neither here nor there. She's playing a different role in the movie. I'm just happy to see her included. So I would at least say that in the movie's defense. If you want to still be mad that Christy Martin herself is not played by either Katie O'Brien or whoever you had in mind, Ruby Rose or whoever you had in mind, whatever. I'm over that. I don't know what to say anymore. Also, quick shout out, Don King, the famous boxing promoter. Again, I don't follow boxing or any sports, but even I know who Don King is. Like, he's a pretty famous figure. He is portrayed by Chad Coleman. Fucking Cuddy from The Wire, fucking Tyrese from The Walking Dead, one of my favorite actors. Man, he is the standout performance. Like, he just appears into that role. He is so good in this movie, and he only has like a tiny role, but he steals the scene, man. Like, there's a great part where, because the whole movie, Christy Martin's husband, who's like a total blowhard, like, he makes shit up. He's like, oh yeah, I can make the call to Don King anytime. Like, I'm gonna get you. I met with him once. Like, he remembers me. And as soon as they finally do get to Don King's office, he's like, oh, you must remember me, Don. And he's like, nope. He's just so funny. He's like very to the point. He's very blunt. But the guy's like, no, we met that one time. He's like, nope. I never forget a face. Nope. And then, like, when they're like, when they're like making a deal, when they're like discussing or whatever, he's just like, okay. He's just very, very to the point. I love it. I've been going on for 30. Yeah, I realize I haven't really talked about the movie that much. More so the controversy and the box office bombing of the movie. But I do encourage you to see it. Hopefully, it'll be on streaming soon at least, so you can watch it that way. I think it's a huge fucking tragedy that this movie bombed the way that it did. It's getting good reviews, but not great reviews. And I looked at the reviews. Critics, I mean, everyone agrees that Sydney Sweeney is fantastic in the movie. But a lot of people are saying like she's the only good part of the movie. I disagree entirely, but you know that's what some people are saying. I think Chad Coleman's performance is worth seeing. I think Katie O'Brien's performance is worth seeing. I think whoever the actor was that played her abusive husband, like holy shit, he's so terrifying. He's so awful as a human being, but he's really good at playing a villain in the movie. Holy shit. A lot of people said that like, oh, it's like an average underdog story. It's a very by the numbers like sports biopic, underdog story. No. No. I would say The Fire Inside was more of a stereotypical underdog, sports biopic story. I mean, Christy Martin, like, only 2/3 of the movie is about her. This movie is about her whole life. I don't want to, like, get into huge spoilers, but I do have to talk about how, like, this movie isn't entirely a boxing movie. It's, like, 2/3 a boxing movie. Have you seen, like, $1 Million Baby? I don't want to spoil that either, but, like, that movie's not entirely about boxing. It goes in a very different direction and turns into a very different movie later on. It turns into more of a drama. Christy is very similar where, again, these are real life events that, I mean, I somehow didn't know about any of this, but her story is so fucking wild. Her husband has always been like a huge monster. Like, he's a very controlling person. And you see that early on enough in the movie. Like, he says it almost kind of jokingly, but he's always like, oh, you can't leave me. If you leave me, I'll kill you. And that's not really the type of language you normally hear a normal person use. But, it starts out as small things, as these type of situations unfortunately do, where he's just like monitoring her phone calls, he's monitoring who she talks to. She can't even have, like, she talks to like a guy in their neighborhood who's walking his dog, and she like laughs at one of his jokes, and he like fucking flips out about that. Like, she can't have any friends, she can't talk to anyone. He will like intercept phone calls. Like, there's a whole thing where she's just trying to get a haircut, and he's like freaking out. He's like, well, why does this woman keep calling you? And she's like, well, I'm trying to make an appointment to get a haircut. And he's like, well, she called you yesterday. Like, why is she calling you more than once? And she's like, and Sydney's like, well, you haven't let me talk to her yet. I haven't made the appointment yet. Let me talk to her. And he like confiscates her phone. But things only get worse. He literally straight up tries to murder her at the end of the film, and it's brutal. It's gruesome. That's like, I'm kind of spoiling it because I want to like kind of give a warning, because I mean the movie was already kind of violent and bloody up to a point. It is boxing after all, but like early on in the film she gets a pretty bad bloody nose. Like, if you're squeamish, like maybe look away then. But no, man, like when I would say look away when she gets stabbed at the end of the movie. Man, it's brutal. Like, it's really brutal. Like, her leg gets really fucked up. That's what especially made me nauseous. Like, don't look. just kind of like turn away for a minute or two after she gets attacked at the end of the movie, because you don't want to see that. It gets really gruesome. So I could like see that as maybe people heard about that ending and like, oh, got turned off, didn't want to like see something that gruesome. But no, I mean, I'm talking about opening weekend. No one had a chance to see it yet. People already like determined that they weren't going to see it. So I don't think that ending had anything to do with people not wanting to see the film. And like I said, I get squeamish with shit like that. I just looked away. Like, the first time I didn't know it was coming, so I saw it, and it was horrifying what happens to her at the end. But when I saw it again, I just kind of looked away. And I normally wouldn't like rewatch a movie that's like, graphic like that. It's just, I really love this movie. I really love Sydney Sweeney. I really loved like the work she put into it. So I rushed out to go see it a second time to support it. And I just, the couple of graphic scenes, I just kind of looked away. Yeah, he's a horrible, horrible monster. He's a horrible monster. I mean, the things that he makes her do. There's a scene that's really, that's why I'm like, I don't know how people are saying like, oh, it's like a by the numbers sports movie. Like, really? it turns into a horror movie. It turns into like a thriller at the end. Are you kidding? It's a normal by the numbers sports movie. And like another review I read, it was like, oh, it's not like dark and gritty enough. It's too like Hollywood. It's too safe for modern audiences or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. Aside from that ending, I mean, there's a lot of really shocking stuff. Like, there's, he's making like these creepy videotapes of her. There's a scene where he takes her to this hotel, and I don't even know how to like. It's really weird. Like, I didn't even understand what was happening at first, but like in so many words, he basically, like, this other guy paid the husband to have Christy quote unquote spar with him in this, like, you know, sketchy hotel room where he has like a mattress set up, and she's just kind of like throwing him into the mattress, and it's definitely like a sexual thing for him. He's like grappling with her and grabbing her ass and stuff, and like the husband's just like there watching it, and like, so he was making her do shit like that to make money because he refused to get a job and he wouldn't let her get a job, and like they were just living off of her fight earnings, and it was rough, man. Ooh. Oh, so yeah, as far as like it being not gritty enough or not dark enough or not being too Hollywood and say, I mean, there were plenty of dark and uncomfortable scenes. I don't know what movie these critics watched. I really don't. I don't think it could have gotten much darker, honestly, or much grittier. Like, it was pretty intense in some parts. Again, it was kind of hard to rewatch, but I did it because I do love this movie, even though it is hard to watch at times. Yeah. Like I said, you know, Fire Inside, there was nothing like that in that movie. That was a much more, like, kind of safe for modern audiences movie. Like, that was, like, far more comfortable to watch. Like, I would rewatch that again in a heartbeat. There was nothing where I had to, like, look away from, like, a really gory scene or something like that. You know what I mean? What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, the husband's just a monster. Like, I'm gonna wrap this up soon, I promise. I could go on for like another hour about Sydney, but it's already getting darker and colder, and I'm about to die of frostbite, so, you know, whatever. Yeah, I mean, early on, you know that there's something wrong with the trainer / the guy who becomes her husband, because when she first tries out at the gym, he clearly, like, he doesn't want to train her. I mean, women's boxing really wasn't a thing at this point, and he doesn't think she has, like, the talent, because she's a woman, and he's biased, obviously. So the guy, he has, like, his one guy spar with her, and it's a great, you know, acting bit where the guy who played the husband is a good actor. He's like, you know, putting on the show. He's like, all right, Jim, or whatever, like, you know, go easy on her. It's her first time, you know, don't hit her too hard. But as he's saying that, he's like mumbling under his breath. He's like saying out of the corner of his mouth to the guy, he's like, yeah, no, like, get her out of here any means necessary. Like, break a couple ribs if you have to. Like, really fuck her up, make it so she doesn't want to fight again. And Jim, like, kind of like, you see it on his face. He's like, did I hear you right? Like, but he still does it. He, like, takes a swing at her ribs and, like, really hurts her. And, like, the idea was to scare her away, but Christy Martin had an indomitable will. She could not be stopped, because all that did was piss her off, and so she gets mad and she just sucker punches him and knocks him the fuck out. and that impressed her trainer. That impressed the coach enough she had to, like, make him want to train her, and she did, because she just always worked twice as hard. She always proved herself constantly to the men in her life that she could do it. She could fight like the men. And I have nothing but respect for her. I really do. Like, I think it's a really inspirational story. I think a lot of women should watch this story. Obviously, and this is, like, the whole thing of, like, you know, people always say, like, oh, well, this, you know, you're not the target audience for this movie. You can't enjoy this movie, or, like, this movie wasn't made for you. Bullshit. Like, obviously, I'm not a woman. I'm not a closeted lesbian boxer. A good movie is a good movie. A good story is a good story. A good performance is a good performance. I can appreciate this movie just fine, even though I'm not the target audience. And, you know, I do encourage people who are the target audience to go see this movie, because I think you'd get a lot out of it. I think, you know, this movie's worth seeing. It's a story worth knowing. It's a story worth telling. But yeah, Sydney's awesome. Like, she put in the work, and you can tell, like, there's fights where, like, she's not only strong, like, when she put in the work, she has the muscles. When she swings those fists, like, you feel the power behind those blows. Like, she had to do that. She couldn't look like her normal, like, 100-pound self and be convincing in this role. Like, she had to have the heft, the weight behind those punches to make you believe that, like, she could knock people the fuck out, and she does. And she's also very playful when she fights. Like, I love her fighting style. Like, there's a part where she's, like, blocking, and she, like, peeks her head out, and she sticks her tongue out like Harley Quinn. She's like, bleh, you know, can't get me. And, like, there's another part where, oh man, how do I describe it? Like, this other boxer, like, she, like, I think her name was Deirdre or something. Deirdre throws these punches, and Sydney, like subtly dodges the first, and the second one, she just kind of, like, it's almost like it bounces off of her armor. She just kind of like bounces off, like, she, like, shrugs it off. Like, she gets hit by the punch, and she just, like, you know, blocks it with her chest. She just kind of, like, bumps it off. She's like, yeah, you can't hurt me, like, bitch. Like, and, like, she's great. The one criticism I have, and I think this is true to real life, again, they're just getting the details right, but, like, her character is and I think Lisa Holloway puts it best. The girl that is played by Katie O'Brien, she says, you do you realize how hard you make it? Do you, or what does she say? She says, do you realize how easy you make it to dislike you? Like, seriously, like, you're such a mean person. I think that's part of like the territory. Boxing's a mean sport. You can't be like nice to your opponents, but she is like extra mean. She's always like kind of trash talking other people. They're just overly mean, especially to Lisa. She's just constantly like, this butch lesbian, I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna make it so like your girlfriend doesn't even recognize you. Just like really mean. It's just like uncalled for. Everyone's just mean to Lisa for no reason. It really like upsets me. Like, again, like, especially watching it the second time, I noticed how everyone's just so mean to Lisa. Like Lisa, just when they fight, Lisa's like, good luck. Like, it's like a genuine, token, a genuine gesture. But on the flip side, you can see Christy's perspective, where everyone has just been so shitty to her whole life, and used and abused her. So she just can't even like believe that someone would genuinely say something like that to her. So she's like, Lisa's like, good luck. And then Christy's like, yeah, good luck at not getting knocked the fuck out. It's just like, oh, what the hell, man? Like, seriously, you're so mean. And even when later on she's like training to fight Muhammad Ali's daughter, and her husband hires Lisa to train with her, and like, everyone's just so mean to Lisa. like she's there to, and like Christy's like, oh, are they paying you? Like, how much are they paying you to be here? And it's like, Jesus. And Lisa's like, not enough. They're not paying me enough to deal with you being an asshole. And like, even like when the training is over, the husband's just like, yeah, we'll like get you the rest of the money at some point, but now would be a good time for you to leave. Like, he's just so mean. He's like, it's not like, like, there's a way to do it. There's a way to be like, okay, thank you for your help. Like, we'll be in touch. Like, shake her hand, and then that lets her know, like, okay, it's time for you to leave. But he's just like, yeah, like, this would be a good time for you to leave. He's just so mean. He's like, and they didn't even pay her. He's like, oh, we'll get back to you with the rest that we owe you. It's like, Jesus Christ. She was genuinely just trying to be Christy's friend the whole time, and it's rough to see how Christy just like, I don't know, and like her family is just so awful. Like, they are so like, conservative Christian family, obviously, and like they're just so awful because she's a woman in the 90s, and like she was indeed a closet lesbian, and they're just like really pushing her to marry a man. Like, don't hook up with that Rosie girl anymore. Like, marry a man. And she does. She marries her coach, and we see how that turns out. We see how that turns out. Yeah, it's awful the way her family treats her. And there's a really upsetting, chilling scene where she tries to reach out to her mom after things get like really bad with her husband, and it's clear to her that she's like in danger. Like, Jim, or I forget her husband's name, sorry, but like he they get into a fight, and he straight up tries to strangle her at one point. And so she's like talking to the mom. She's like, there's like having like a house party or whatever, and she's like talking to the mom outside. She's like, Mom, like, I need to tell you all this. Like, I feel like he's constantly watching me. He's like making videos of me. He's like making me do all this weird stuff, and I don't feel safe. Like, I don't want him to be in my life anymore. Like, I'm really scared. I don't know how I got into this situation, and that, unfortunately, that's how some people are. Sometimes they get locked in, and they're like, oh, they realize too late that they're in an abusive relationship, but they really can't get out, at least not without help. And so she turns to her mom, and the mom is just kind of like, oh, Christy, you sound like a crazy person, like like, oh yeah. And there was a whole thing where her husband was also getting her addicted to drugs, and so the mom found out about that, and she's like, oh yeah, I heard about you having a drug addiction. Like, this must be a result of that or whatever. And it's like, oh my God. And she's like, I don't feel comfortable having this conversation behind your husband's back. Like, this feels like a betrayal for your husband. Like, you just need to get your act together. You need to just buck up. And like, I was like, oh my God, like, she's in danger. She's crying out for help, and you just gaslit her like so bad. Like, the gaslighting was so bad. You really feel for Christy. Like, she can't get any help, and like everyone's just like gaslighting the hell out of her, making her think that like, no, everything's fine. You're just crazy. Like, there's nothing wrong with your husband. He's great. Because her husband is like the perfect sociopath. Like, he can, like, he gets in. Like, he is like very charismatic, and he convinces you that you need him, and blah blah blah. And it's just ugh. What a disgusting monster he turns out to be. Yeah, I've rambled on close to an hour, as I thought I would, because I love this movie, and I can talk about this movie for forever. But yeah, if humanly possible, you'll have to catch like an early morning or like midday screening. You'll probably have to go at like 11:45 in the morning or something. But try and see Christy in the theater if possible, or at least wait until it hits streaming. That's about it.